So, you've generated a bunch of ideas on your team, and now you're ready to select some ideas to move forward in the design process? Well, let's talk about why you should be thinking about psychological safety and how you can support it in your team to help you make the best decisions and foster innovation. When we think about innovation, we typically think about the generation of ideas, but the availability of creative ideas is a necessary but insufficient condition for innovation. In other words, for innovation to happen, your team needs to not only generate creative ideas, but also select them as part of the concept screening process. For this reason, concept screening is seen as the gatekeeper of innovation. One of the factors that can affect team decision-making is the psychological safety of your team. Without psychological safety, your team members may not feel comfortable advocating for or providing critical feedback on an idea. For example, your team member may not feel comfortable or confident advocating for a really creative idea, even though they see great promise in it. This would mean your team would lose the chance of creating a truly innovative concept. On the other side, a team member may not provide critical feedback, and your team could select an idea to move forward with in the design process that is not likely to succeed. As such, fostering psychological safety during concept screening is critical for design success. We previously discussed the building blocks of psychological safety and the lenses you can use to help foster psychological safety in your team. Today, we're going to talk about how you can use those lenses to help facilitate effective and inclusive concept screening practices. If you are assigned the role of turn-taking equalizer during concept screening, you're responsible for proactively inviting input from each team member to make sure they provide critical feedback on design ideas your team has developed. This role is important because if a team member is not providing feedback, your team may miss out on critical or supportive feedback that your team needs to make the best decision. If you notice particular members are not participating, you can ask things like, "We need to hear from you," or "What are your thoughts on this?" It's important to note that if a team member is not participating for long periods of time, you may want to connect with them by sending them a private message and asking how you can help them contribute to the discussion today. If you are assigned the role of point of view shifter, you're responsible for getting alternate perspectives on design ideas. This is important for concept screening because it makes sure your team is considering both critical and supportive views of your design ideas. If your team is only sharing positive views of designs, you may want to ask questions like, "Who has a different perspective?" or "What are we missing about this design?" Similarly, if you notice a team member is being overly critical, you can ask things like, "What are some good aspects of this design?" or "How could we make this idea work?" It's important to make sure that your team is disagreeing with specific perspectives or ideas, but supporting the idea creator. If you are assigned the role of affirmation advocate, your goal is to make sure you listen to and genuinely show interest in comments and affirm every member's contributions in some way. You want to avoid total silence after members provide their input because it will make it less likely that they'll say something next time. For example, you could affirm them by saying, "That was a good point," or "Thank you so much for bringing that up. I really appreciate it." It's important to support a participant who provides a critical or perhaps unpopular opinion. You need to make sure you support them by saying, "That's a unique perspective. We really needed to hear it," or "Thanks for sharing that challenging perspective." It's important to be genuine in your affirmation because your goal is to help team members feel valued so that they're more likely to contribute in the future. The last role is the creativity promoter. In this stage, your goal is to ask questions that help your team continue to develop ideas and support creativity. For example, you could ask questions like, "What two of these ideas could we combine together in a unique way?" Or "What other ideas could we generate? How can we build off of this idea to make it more novel?" If someone's being overly critical of a design, you could flip the switch and ask, "What are some good aspects of this design that we could build on?" I hope this video has helped you understand why psychological safety is important in concept screening and how you can foster psychological safety using the 4 lenses. Now, take a moment and assign each team member on your team one of these lenses for today's activities. Then go, make good decisions, foster innovation, and support psychological safety in your teams.